Oh man, oh man, oh man. How great it is to hear that sound again. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new and improved, slightly upped production value of our fancy show now.
Fancy.
Home of the Chiefs podcast, where the Chiefs are our home. And that brand new intro going forward gives us the signal that we've been waiting all this time for. That, my friends, that tells us that questionably football is back.
Football is back, guys.
Football is here. Now, it's not the regular season yet, and we're going to have a bigger conversation about this here in a minute, but guys, we're here. The NFL has uniformed players go on a field and playing. Yeah, we're here. We're very close.
It's so exciting.
We are less than a full month away from the Thursday night spectacular, Chiefs hosting the Lions for Thursday night football to begin the NFL season. But of course, the regular season cannot kick off unless the preseason is upon us. And that, my friends, it is upon us.
It is.
So
it came up so fast.
So, preseason, a lot of people are on the fence about how they feel about it, right? So what I've done is I have put together a little poll, which on the screen, and I'm covering you up, so sorry.
Yeah, it's fine.
But as you can see on the screen, I had the lovely people at the social sports company sector to upload this poll for me, basically asking the kingdom, do you care about the preseason? And I got about the exact answers I thought.
Yeah.
It is literally 50% with just a little extra. So everybody that clicked no, somebody else clicked yes for some other reason.
Mm-hmm.
So first, before we go into these other people's comments, what is your opinion?
So my opinion on preseason, I think it's pretty exciting, but I am kind of on the fence about like if it's super important, because to the general public, I feel like it's not like as important as the regular season games.
Mm-hmm.
But it is exciting. It's exciting to get to see your favorite players on the field again for the first time this season.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a lot of little kids like to go there and try and like see their favorite players be on the field, and you get to see the backups do some work. So that's kind of fun. But I feel like for me, it's okay. Like it's like you said, 50-50. But for the general like fan, it doesn't like matter a lot. But I feel like it matters just a little bit.
So before I give my opinion, I think I want anybody listening to the show who supports us, follows us, all that fancy things. Here's a ticker again to change for the sports company and follow us on everything we could ever possibly dream of. But anybody who's watching or listening to this, I want your feedback, because the question I posed kind of hinted at it, but I think I should have gone a little deeper and asked, do you watch the entirety of a preseason game? That's what I should have asked, because
that's a good question.
That would probably get a lot of the yes voters to sway if they had to say no.
Yeah,
I don't want to watch.
I feel like a lot of people would say no to that.
So my answer is yes, it does matter. And if you are as nerdy of a fan as me, you're not maybe as nerdy if you're listening to this show compared to the other ones, but if you're a fan of itself, and especially if you were a fan before we were really, really good, the preseason is a lot like AAA baseball. It's like minor league baseball type. So you've got your main roster, you've got like the Royals, and you know who's there all the time, who they're playing, and whatever about them. But then
Yeah.
there's the hype of the younger bunch underneath them playing in the leagues not quite up to the major league level that
Yeah.
people are more excited about. So the preseason for a lot of like bad teams, it's like, who all do we have? And hopefully they look good at the beginning. But like more experienced teams like the Chiefs, they use it more when you're a winning team like this is for depth purposes. Like who would be the 7th wide receiver to come on the field when all of them go down in the AFC Championship game?
Right.
Who's the 7th offensive lineman who comes in when anybody gets hurt?
Yeah.
Who's the, name the position, go down the line. Here in a minute, we'll look at the Chiefs depth chart as it stands. But overall, my opinion is, yes, I do like it. And yes, I think it's important because it informs you how well your depth is. And not only your depth, but it signals how well your coaches perform, I guess so to say.
Yeah.
Basically making the coaches prove their worth as coaches and teachers to show how some guy who's undrafted, not expected to make any roster, how to fill that guy with a lot of knowledge and stuff like that to be able to someday make a play in an NFL game that matters.
Yeah, so it's kind of a learning experience for them too.
Yes, for sure. The preseason is known as being not important because they're not really keeping score, but the adage is everybody who's playing on that field when that game's going on thinks that game is important because their one missed tackle or fancy tackle they made is the difference between making the team and not.
Exactly.
So it's not normal fans or like diehards can call it boring, but it's boring if you're just watching it as a game and watching like you normally would a regular game.
Yeah, expecting like these amazing plays, that's not going to happen in these games.
If you're watching it as like potential watchers, who's the guy that we want to look out for, who's somebody that is not that experienced, see how much of the game they play versus a starter. Like for instance, every year Andy Reid says, the offense is going to get a quarter or whatever.
Yeah.
And it always happens. Mahomes plays one drive and it's done. And then the backup quarterback, which was Blaine Gabbert this year, with the offensive lineman, and then after that, it's done. All the backups again. And that hasn't quite changed over the years, and a lot of the NFL doesn't even play most of their starters in the preseason, and then sometimes you see early injuries.
Exactly. They don't want to risk them getting injured in a game that doesn't really matter that much.
But no, I'm saying in the reverse. If there's people who aren't playing in that game, they're going to get on the field for the first time in week 1, take a hit in the football game. They had not gotten hit. And that's you don't know. You don't know what could happen. So that's what Mahomes likes to say is when he gets that first hit in and then he gets out, that reminds him that football is back. So anybody who says preseason isn't important, at least Mahomes would beg to differ.
Yeah.
So besides that, let me go ahead and show so I already showed the Twitter poll, and we had Nick here, KC fan Nick, basically just type, I just hope everyone stays healthy, and underneath that I said, well, yes, of course. That's the correct answer.
Yeah.
But what besides that, yes, everyone hopes that no one gets hurt in the preseason, but that can't be the only you have to care or not care. And then one Britt Zank over here at over here at Casey Sports Company left his response by saying, game outcomes, no. How starters look, no. How backups play, yes. So then, of course, that's not an answer. So I say, so overall, is that a yes or no then? And he says, overall, no. So most of the diehards say the preseason does not matter to them.
Mm-hmm.
And I totally understand their point of view.
Yeah.
But I think I laid out enough good points. So if you are, a fan like yourself who, you're not memorizing every single name on the roster, then no, you'll probably space out after the first quarter and
True.
maybe have it on in the background. But,
True.
A fan like myself who wants to know the name of the fourth string defensive tackle or whatever the case, that it is important, and you get to see whether these young guys that Brett Hughes just drafted a few months ago or last year, who we still haven't seen anything of, give them a chance to
shine.
Show out, and give them their shot at showing what they can do and doing it on an NFL film with tape and everything.
Yeah, I think it's cool just for that reason. It gives other guys a chance as well.
Yep, sure does. So with that, the next thing we're going to talk about is basically from a fan's perspective, what is your outlook on the preseason? So we already talked about whether you think it's important, whether you care, whether making sure people doesn't get injured, blah, blah, blah. That's the standard stuff.
Yeah.
But now I want to look at is here for visual lookers out there. This is the depth chart for the Chiefs for the 2023 season. And I know it's probably a little squinty for you.
Oh, that's fine.
But the people at home here on YouTube seeing this are looking at the 2023 Kansas City Chiefs unofficial depth chart as of just earlier last week as you're watching this. And of course, it's got clear up to 90 players on it.
Yeah.
And the NFL changed their rules last year, in fact. So there used to be a trickle down of tons of players to the mandatory number in spurts. And now it's just 90 to 53 in one week. You can do it whenever you want, but by a certain date, it has to all be 53. There is no in-between number again.
That's cool. That's
so you're going to have a lot of different players get, released. Maybe some traded into next year. You wouldn't really assume that because of the timeline and stuff like that. But you still might see a veteran who you didn't expect to get cut, and now there's a free spot up. So stuff like that to pay attention to. Okay, so for our benefit, I've blown up a better version of this so we can see this. So from this list of here, besides the standard names, besides anybody who made a statement last year, who is a player on this depth chart that you are excited to see in the preseason?
I'm definitely excited to see Rashee Rice play. He seems like he's going to be a really good asset to our team, and it'll be interesting to see what he can bring to the table and what his athleticism will bring to our team. He has been talked about all this preseason and even before, and I feel like he's one of the guys we just really need to be watching.
Yeah, that was going to be one of my answers as well. I think pretty much almost all the wide receivers on this team not named Marquez Valdez-Scantling are going to be players to watch out for this preseason. Sky Moore is expected to have a bigger role this season than he had previously. So, he's not had a lot of production in our offense. So I wonder how much of the preseason he'll actually see. But him being a starter, you should expect to see him come out pretty quickly.
Yep.
As he would everybody else. Tony's injured right now, so we won't see him until we've been told first game of the regular season. So we'll see if that holds true. Richie James, the newcomer, looks really good in practice. See if he's got some production this Sunday and then the following Saturday. See if he's got some production. Justin Ross, of course. We have to see him, moss a guy in Sunday's game. That way everybody in the kingdom can have their desserts about deciding he's, Randy Moss 2.0. The new tackles, Donovan Smith, Jawan Taylor, just making sure the first drive, see if Mahomes gets sacked whatsoever. Being the preseason, Andy Reid's not going to do anything, too crazy on offense. It's going to be very generic plays. So just seeing how the offense does without any character, spunk, energy to it whatsoever, just methodical. Energy. What are the normal default Madden plays doing? Anybody else on? Wanya Morris, backup tackle.
I heard his name.
I'll be interested to hear, to watch him. Most likely that second team offense. See how he does in his role there. I'm not sure. Prince Tega might play some. Lucas Niang, see how he's come back after injury. Darian Kennard, drafted as a tackle, listed as a guard here. Maybe they finally decided to make the ultimate switch for him, but that'll be basically the entire second team offense from the running backs to Blaine Gabbert and Shane Bouchel. They do behind the lesser, the second and third team offense, how the wide receivers do, how the offensive line does, how the running backs do. We got Clyde as a third stringer, but I think we're going to see a lot of Deneric Prince, like we've heard a lot about in training camp. So this might be his shot to show that he is on par athletically with Isaiah Pacheco. And Nico Remigio. So this is so fun words. He's had a lot of clips come out from training camp looking good. So again, I'm just repeating the same stuff. The wide receivers get a lot of attention.
Yeah,
and that's what we're going to be looking at.
Yeah.
Now, jumping to the defense, I think a lot of it's going to be, the backups behind Chris Jones and, like a Mike Dana, George Karlaftis, Felix type. So not sure how much, and we'll see the rotation, how that goes. As of this recording, Chris Jones is not joining the team yet, and I will have a whole third segment about that after we finish that. But the defensive tackles will be interesting to see the Dannys, the Daniels, the Derricks, the D's, the Keandre Coburn, just drafted player out of Texas. And then the edge rushers, Malik Herring supposedly is balling out.
Somebody we
hasn't played any regular season. So see how he does there. Felix, I don't think we'll see a whole lot, but hope to see him flash in the early parts when he is. BJ Thompson is somebody that I'm pretty excited to see. I know a lot of the Kingdom are, because he's not the prototypical edge rusher that Spags typically goes for. He goes for the big bulky guy, and BJ Thompson's more like the Derek Thomas, D Ford, get around really fast. Type. So that'll
be interesting to see him.
That had been like a missing component for the defense for a while, is not having somebody to get there quickly around the edge. Chris Jones is a god at getting through the middle, and that's a special kind of disruption on its own. But when you can collapse the pocket and start squishing in those quarterbacks, making them feel uncomfortable. And that's when they start to make mistakes.
Yeah.
And that's when they do some bad throwing and running. And that's what allows us to talk about the next group of defensive players, the linebackers, the corners, and the safeties. Leo Chanel, I think we might see a lot of him early here because we expect to see Drew Tranquil be more of a starter.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's what the grapevines are telling us. So expect to see like 3 or 4 linebacker rotation. I don't know how much of Willie and Bolton we'll see. There's a lot of talk that Willie's getting benched through Drew Tranquil. We'll let him be the judge of that. Can't see it, but the background.
Yep.
On the corners, we'll see how much the starting corners play, like how much Trent McDuffie plays. I believe Snead is still on injury, so I'm not sure if we'll actually get to see him at all. But then, the Williams and Watson brothers, see how much they play, if at all. Boodle, Nick Jones, those are some guys to watch, shown out in previous training camps before. Safety play, see Brian Cook essentially in his first starting role. We saw him kind of pop off at the end of the AFC Championship game, started getting some actual time on the field, but we haven't seen that long term. Some of the talk is that he's actually doing a lot of the play calling type role, which you would have assumed somebody like Justin Reed would be doing.
Yeah.
So maybe that's also allowing some freedoms so that the two of them can kind of play switcheroo every now and then. That way the defense doesn't know based on who it is exactly what their role is and what they're planning to do.
Yeah.
Best thing you can do is keep a defense guessing and questioning what all you're doing.
True.
Then we got Chamari Connor, a rookie. That'll be interesting to see. Mike Edwards, new member of the Chiefs through the free agency period. Anybody else on this list you want to give?
I think you pretty much
spotlight?
rattled them off. Yeah, that was pretty much all the names that I've been hearing about. And I'm excited. I'm really excited.
Yeah, me too. It's at least telling us that football is in the air. If you're someone like me who subjects himself to Canadian football because you care enough about football that you'll watch it at any time because it's just very stimulating. I'll watch it start to finish, but I'm also not spacing out during it or focusing on something else on the field, not necessarily the actual play going on. Maybe watching some other player who's not the main focus, just because I got an itch of who I want to look at and pay attention to right now. Like you said, Rashee Rice. This is a Rashee Rice drive. I'm gonna watch him.
I'm gonna watch him.
This whole drive.
See what he does.
Oh, this is the Wanya Morris drive. I'm just gonna watch him and see how he looks and see if he's getting bodied or he's holding his own. Just not because I can make drastic assumptions based on the 3 plays that happen, but it can give us a glimpse into the future, which again, full circling is why I care about the preseason, because it shows us that potential. I mean, the first time that Chiefs Kingdom saw Patrick Mahomes was in the preseason dotting up Tennessee Titans, throwing a pass to Demarcus Robinson, and Marcus Peters was on the sideline flipping his crap, just so excited. So the players care about preseason. They might not, be so interested in the score and all that, but they're helping their teammates. The primary guys come out. They're not just sitting on the sidelines, not doing nothing. They're giving help. They're talking to the coaches. They're
They're treating it like it's a learning experience for everyone.
Exactly. When a lot of teams in the preseason just like shrug it off and don't want to do it, and several teams don't play any starters whatsoever. I'm not saying there's one good way and bad way, but Andy Reid has chosen his way and he's stuck with it, and you can't argue with his results.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to the preseason. Assuming this comes out Sunday morning before the game, I know you are too. That's why you're tuning in beforehand, because you just want to get all the nerdy Chiefs talk out of you while you're waiting around. So thank you all who are joining us at whatever day and time, and appreciate you listening and watching. And if you're watching, please follow us on KC Sports Company on anywhere that you access social media of any kind. So we've got one more topic that I'm going to close with today, and it's the 6'5" elephant in the room.
I have to pull your hair back for this one.
I gotta get mentally prepared for this. So anybody who's been following my socials for a bit has seen my efforts in trying to bring back the man himself. So here I am. Here's my tweet where I'm saying, manifesting the Stone Cold extension, not taking this off until I know he'll never wear a non-red uniform in the NFL. So my dumb butt put that, and it's still been a giant roller coaster in what we're doing and what the Chiefs are doing and what Stone Cold is doing, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
This is the most recent addition we have.
Nobody understands this.
So the ticker, it's not really doing it justice. Here we go. So for those who can't watch, it's the Michael Bay tweet from essentially early Saturday morning.
It was
Friday night.
Yeah, it looks like an Instagram post from Michael Bay, but they tweeted it.
Yep, people have been sharing it all over Chiefs Twitter news.
Become a meme.
So Michael Bay says, "Wow, just with my buddy Chris Jones, he just quit the team. Crazy."
I don't.
So I know you were very perplexed on how to feel about that.
I still don't understand.
I think the best thing is to not try to understand
it. Yeah.
Whatever it is, he's being cryptic, and let him be cryptic.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say other than that.
He's got his methods. He's trying to get it done. Both sides are acting like they want to get it done. And then here in the kingdom, we say, well, every day that passes, it acts like you're not getting it done.
Yeah.
So I'm not calling you a liar, but I ain't calling you a truther, because it ain't done yet.
Yeah.
This is something that, we would have thought got done 3 months after the Super Bowl's over. And it's still dragging.
They're treating it like a college book report where you put it off until the very last second, and then you just I don't know. It's crazy.
But I mean, they act like they weren't expecting Chris to not be there and stuff like that. But we've seen him be like this. He held in, I should say, hit that last year of his rookie deal before, and then got franchise tagged, and then the contract got extended.
Yeah.
So did I jump the gun with this jersey? I mean, now can ever take it off? Possibly. But I didn't, realistically think, oh, okay, we're going to have to wait till next year, and then they'll work something out. Because you would have assumed if they wanted to get something done, it'd be done by now. And that's what frustrates the heck out of me.
Yeah, and that's what's frustrating to a lot of people.
And it's turning some of the kingdom against Chris. And I'm not trying to entertain any of that. I'm not trying to, enforce that. I'm trying to kill it. I don't want that energy out there. I'm bringing this up, retweeting it. bringing it up.
We want Chris
here.
Jones here.
Exactly.
Like, we don't want him to go away.
My jersey is getting stinkier, smellier, and crustier. Chris, if you're watching, you can get me another one. Sign it. I'll put it up on my wall.
Yeah, we'll go right back there.
But like, we want you back, Chris. Like, I know there's nothing the kingdom can do. Was it yesterday? Friday.
Probably. Yeah,
Friday had the Twitter Spaces, and Chris Jones came online for like 2 questions and was flat out asked, "Are you coming back next year?" And his statement is, "I'm only here for 1 year, and I'm focused on that." So everyone takes that quote and runs with it and says, "Oh, well, he doesn't want to. He's coming back." That's not the question I would have posed. If I had one question for Chris Jones and he was to answer it, my question is, are those conversations happening? Are these conversations going well? Are you wanting to be on the team next year? Are you getting the impression the Chiefs want you on the team next year? And if those aren't true, then one side needs to get exposed because it's too cryptic and
it's too behind the scenes.
Yep.
Now it's like it's ridiculous.
So we're stressing Chris Jones out, but he doesn't know that he's intentionally stressing a lot of other people out.
Yeah, he basically brought this all on.
So until we know or see a resolution, unfortunately, we have to contemplate like who's at fault, who's not budging, who wants something too much, or who is the party not giving out what is wanted. Like, is Chris Jones literally asking for too much money? I would say that's ridiculous. There's no price the Chiefs should not be willing to pay to keep Chris Jones on their team.
Yeah.
Does Chris Jones want to be on the team for several years later than his prime would be? Possibly. Those are the things that that might be another issue.
Yeah, like is that his goal, or does
he wants to be on the team 5 years and the team feels like, oh, maybe you're 3 years and we don't want to be paying. So maybe that's part of the conversation. I don't know. I'm not in the meetings. I'd love to be, because then I'd be able to tell all you guys who follow this stuff like the Bible exactly what's happening, so we don't have to speculate.
Yeah.
And Chris is adding to speculation. I'm not saying he likes trolling us, but I think he likes trolling us.
Yeah,
I think he's enjoying the troll now.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say anything else bad about my senpai, because I'd like to take this jersey off at one point. Not because I don't like wearing it, Chris, but because it deserves to not get stinked all the time.
It deserves to be washed.
It deserves to not have all the smelliness inside of it. Yeah. So we'll see how this resolves.
It's been interesting. Like I told you, it's strange how if he was to resign from the Chiefs, how he would get Michael Bay to post that. That just doesn't make sense. I feel like he would come out and say that, not Michael Bay. That's why I think it's just all a big publicity thing, and it's a trolling. They're just trolling us.
So I guess I'll pose you one last topic about it before we close. Do you think he's doing it more to troll fans because he knows that this will eventually get done? Or is he trolling the organization and using the fans against them?
Ooh.
And saying it oh, the organization doesn't want it?
He might be doing that.
You really think it's the organization not giving him what he wants?
I feel like it could be that more than the other way around. But you said, he might have a personal goal of not being in Kansas City anymore, or wanting to be somewhere else.
But that goes against all the tweets that he would do every random time saying,
I love you, I want to be here, I want Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I feel like it's more the organization not giving him what he wants, and then he like isn't gonna budge on what he wants. But
I will stay on the blissfully ignorant side that says that he already knows he's going to get his contract and he's just waiting and bidening his sweet time
true.
until
I mean,
he has
that
to
could
finally be in uniform. You know, he said screw training camps. We'll see how much of the preseason. He says screw to the preseason, but I don't think he's going to miss games. It doesn't help him in the slightest. Yeah, I'm not even going to contemplate that he wouldn't at least put on the uniform this year.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, the whole conversation has been if he's around, they feel like he'll get it done. So it seems like he's more avoiding the people in area to get it done. So we'll see how long that progresses. Hopefully not longer than 1 day since you're recording this. But
yeah.
You know, I'll keep praying. I'll keep trying to manifest it because I'll die on this hill. I love you, CJ. CJ,
we want you to stay.
Yes, we do. You're my senpai, and I've asked you 4 times to notice me. So hopefully, I got the Chiefs to notice me so that they will notice the senpai appropriately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I think that about wraps up our, our return to season form episode of the Home of the Chiefs podcast, which is presented by KC Sports Company. Thank you so much for putting on this great production of ours and giving us the tools, the knowledge, all that to come out here and spread our fandom all over the kingdom and outside the kingdom, who are happy to extend its reach to, and really just appreciate you guys for listening and watching, being part of this while we're
hanging in there,
coming back. We were all kind of on a hiatus. We ended up starting that, but we didn't mean to, that everybody would kind of come to a stop for a bit. But hopefully you guys missed us and you love us so much now that we're back, and you appreciate that we're new and improved, shall we say.
Yeah, getting better.
So thank you so much for joining the Home of the Chiefs podcast. I am Clinton. This is Shannon, as always. We hope you have a great rest of your day. And as always, go Chiefs!